Yo! So, I know Rise gets a lot of hate, but Rise is a sick game, man. Like, I didn't like it as much as World, but Rise introduced so many cool things to the game. When I think about Rise, I think the two key things I think of are the wire bugs and the palamutes. The wire bugs are essentially one of the core mechanics of the game. It is present on every weapon, against every monster, and it has a huge influence on gameplay. The combat loop of the game is essentially designed around this, I'd say. Mostly. Then, with the palamutes, I think the palamutes were like such an awesome addition to the game. Albeit being a bit broken, but I can't say I care too much about that since it is a PvE game. And now we're getting an improvement of them being the psych rate in Wilds, which seems to be more support focused than combat. Now, I think the wire bugs don't need to return to Wilds, but it seems they have learnt a few things from them and how they can implement it differently in Wilds, such as giving some weapons a new parry or evade mechanic, like the burn switch axe. So in this video, I want to talk about some things I want to see come back in Wilds. Rise experimented with a lot of interesting mechanics I think could be developed on in Wilds to make the experience even greater. So yes, the first thing, we already mentioned it, we know the palamute was awesome, and they're implementing the psych rate in Wilds, which is also going to be awesome. I hope it's able to be customized a lot, with armor and everything. We already know that they come in different colors, as we've seen with NPCs having different feathers on them. Like I think it was pink on one of the NPCs. So here's to hoping we can somehow armor them up as well and just completely like gear them up however we want. So the second thing I want to talk about is photography. Whilst this was introduced in Worlds, Rise did a huge improvement on it. I love that you could take a picture of a monster and have it as like the monster's icon in the hunter's notes. Like, it's small things like this that really make me remember and enjoy a game a lot more. I think this mechanic went really well with the rare endemic wildlife. I had like two early memories in Rise. One where I was on top of the mountain in the shrine ruins, and above the shrine gate, there was just that cool looking fox sat there with the moon out. It kind of reminded me of one of those rare shots photographers get in real life. So I was just like, oh, okay, let's get a cool picture of it. And then the second memory was seeing the monk snail for the first time and being like, what the fuck is that? Instantly, I just pulled out the camera and took a picture, and then you gesture with it and it waves back and stuff. Well, it didn't wave because it's a snail, but it like kind of jiggled a bit. But yeah, I hope they keep this system in and develop on it. It's a really cool system. So the third thing I hope that comes back is the sick ass weapon designs. So this was kind of a thing in old Monster Hunter, right? The weapon designs were fucking awesome. I think it was something a lot of people would think about or talk about when they'd mention Monster Hunter to someone. And then World introduced slap-on weapon designs, which I don't think they were actually that bad. They kind of added a logical step when you would progressively upgrade a weapon. But when the last weapon of a weapon tree was a slap-on design, it was kind of bad. Like, I think slap-on designs were fine, building up to it, but it just shouldn't be the last weapon in the tree. And then Rise brought back a lot of the cool and unique weapon designs, which was a really good idea. So I hope that stays in Wilds. I mean, in the game in general. Like, yeah, slap-ons are fine, but the last weapon should always be really cool and unique. Alright, fourthly. So, the follower system has already been confirmed to come back. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what to talk about here. I guess I want to see some big improvements on it. Perhaps a system where you can customize the armor and weapons of a follower instead of them being preset. Or maybe they have weapons that they will only use. So let's say, oh, X follower only uses Charge Blade. But you can give them any weapon they want in that weapon sort of set. So you can give them any Charge Blade you want, yeah. So imagine like, you get a spare Fatalis weapon and you're like, hey, take this. And then yeah, they just use that. Maybe even certain followers have their own unique skills, kind of like the Palico equipment in Worlds. Though I have a feeling that will return with the Palicos, so something a bit different than that. Regardless, I want to see what kind of new stuff they can cook up for the new follower system. The market lottery system. I love gambling. No, I'm kidding. But it was a nice way to get stuff like max potions, and it was pretty sweet getting the rare housing items as well. I'd like to see whatever stuff they could add to it, but I'm not sure what's coming back that they could add to it. Maybe some rare layered armor or something for your Palico or Psychret. Like, low-key, I think I would prefer gambling on it in a lottery in-game instead of buying layered armor with real money from an online store. You know what I mean? I don't know, maybe that's a bad take, but I think the lottery system was somewhat fun, even though it was just a small thing. Before we continue, I'd greatly appreciate a like and subscribe. I'm loving making these videos, and the support goes a long way, so big thanks, dudes. Alright, back to it. So, for sixthly, yeah, whatever. Housing. I love housing in games. I see it as a good way to somewhat display something about your personality, your personal preferences in a way. It's just a really fun way to do. So here's my world house. With my world house, I kind of like the idea of like, it kind of felt like a castle armory, but also a bedroom. I wasn't really sure where I was going with the pets. I just kind of placed the rare stuff everywhere, other than the 3 paratoads. They're like my guards. The gods that guard the castle, yeah. And then we have the wigglers, the rare fish. I think there's a rare fish, yeah. They look it. They don't look like your normal fish. And then I have no idea what this was. I don't even remember. I think I got this from Shara's Arena, but it looks kind of cute. I'm a Nurg statue, because you know, Nurg. Of course, we have the giant sack fly, heel bug, and then the giant jellyfish thing that floats about. Yeah, you kind of get the idea. It's fun customizing your own place. Also, these dudes chillin', vibing. So yes, I loved housing. I assume since the captionette is returning in Wilds, we will have a place to put the endemic life again. I think the only thing that turns me away is Capcom may sell viable health items again. And they could just put them as obtainable stuff in the game, maybe like a rare or secret thing you can find. I don't know, there's lots of ideas and potential with this one, but housing is something I always enjoy in games. At number 7, I have the Anomaly Research Lab, or whatever it could be in Wilds. It was basically a way to buy items and materials, using a currency you'd get from hunting the Curio infested monsters in Sunbreak. Anomaly Investigations was the endgame in Sunbreak, and it made monsters a fair amount harder, so I think it is a fair way to reward the players progressing. Like, I don't think completing these quests was any easy feat, so this was a good reward. You could buy stuff such as mantles and specific risen monster parts in it. Let's say, if your RNG sucks and you didn't get what you needed for a long time. Pretty decent system in my opinion, could be nice to see again. And then 8th, I have research requests for a specific monster. This was simply a boost in rewards for hunting a target monster in the Anomaly Investigations, specifically a boost to the coins received, I believe. Now, I didn't find this too necessary to focus on in Sunbreak. I just kind of did the Risen Elders and whatever I wanted, but this is definitely something they can bring back and improve on. Perhaps with the monster strength system we've seen in Wilds, a higher strength plus research request target maybe equals an insane boost in rewards. You know, there's a lot of stuff they could do with this, so I think it would be cool to see it again. And as an honourable mention, I want to talk about Wyvern riding. It was a cool mechanic, but I don't think it fits the style that Wilds aims for, so they changed it back to what it's like in World. But they have improved on it, at least from what I've seen, so yeah, I can definitely see a lot of mechanics in Rise making a return with some sort of improvement. As Rise should just introduce so many cool and unique stuff to the game, I'm sure there's probably things I missed, but these mechanics I mentioned were mainly what came to mind when I was making this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this vid. Let me know what things you want to see return from Rise into the game. Take care, stay safe, survive the wait until Wilds, it must be done, and goodbye!